trophyless, bottler, cursed. For years, these words followed Harry Kane like a ghost, a clinical finisher who couldn't finish his trophy cabinet. The man with 330 career goals, but nothing to show for it. Until now. When Kane eventually won silverware in May 2025, it wasn't a trophy, it was redemption.
Rightly so. The England captain now gets to exhale and smile and soak it all in.
After years of ridicule, heartbreaks, and near misses, football's most maligned world-class striker finally got his moment. But how did it reach that point? How did a player once called too fat by Arsenal's academy turn into one of the most lethal finishers in football history? And more specifically, how did he overcome the psychological obstacles that threatened to make his legacy the greatest player never to have won anything? This is the story of Harry Kane, doubter turned believer, reject turned redeemed. This is the story of how Harry Kane saved his career. 330 goals, 62 England assists, 3 Premier League Golden Boots, PFA Player of the Year, and until recently, none to show for it. The Harry Kane paradox was the mystery of the match. Why so clinical and yet so consistently inept when it truly mattered? On the grand ones, Kane disappeared. 2019 Champions League Final versus Liverpool, nowhere to be found. 2021 League Cup Final versus Manchester City, no shots. Euro 2020 Final versus Italy, completely unknown. And yearly, the jokes became louder, the memes propagated, the pressure escalated. Harry Kane gets roasted all the time for when he doesn't win a trophy. But Kane's story isn't just a story of course or bad luck. It's one of perseverance, self-doubt, and the journey of a long time to get to championship thinking. Before Premier League strikes and England's skipper, Kane was just a lad with a dream and a problem. In a piece of irony that would set the tone for his whole career, Harry Kane began at Arsenal. Yes, you've read that right. The Tottenham legend began his youth career with their bitter rivals, but it didn't survive. At the age of 8, Arsenal released him. Why? They thought he was too chubby, not having the athletic build that they wanted in their academy. When Kane was released by Arsenal for being too fat, he explains it in a very specific manner. He always states that his father didn't seem worried, and he didn't even put any pressure on him to try to overcome these obstacles. The first denial planted the seed of doubt that would plague and drive Kane for years to come. After brief spells at Ridgeway Rovers, he was offered a trial at Watford, where he lined up against Tottenham's youth team. Creating a good impression on his potential club, he was offered a place in Spurs' academy. Hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown of Harry Kane's journey, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more player evolution stories like this one. Even at Tottenham, however, his success wasn't immediate. The weight problems were still an issue, and it wasn't until he went through a growth spurt that things really began to change. In 2010, age 16, Kane was scoring 18 goals in 22 matches against players 2 years older than him. But when he put pen to paper on his first professional contract, first-team experience was beyond him. As success at youth level came so readily, transitioning to the seniors proved much harder. Between 2011 and 2013, Kane's career was mostly in limbo. Tottenham relegated him to a succession of loans, each bringing fresh difficulties and deeper questions. First League One's Leyton Orient, then Championship side Millwall. A brief short-term Premier League stint at Norwich was ended by a metatarsal fracture after a single game. Then Leicester City, where things hit their lowest. I can't play in the Championship. How could I ever play in the Premier League? Self-doubt for Kane reached its peak at overachievers Leicester. After battling for minutes, he was contemplating walking away. One night, his family called round, and it had to be his dad to stop him getting out of Leicester and back to his hometown home, having a blazing row with Kane, who was prepared to walk away from it all. This confidence crisis has been something Kane has himself admitted to. Unlike much of the great sportsmen that appear to seep natural self-belief about themselves, Kane had to battle to get going. He's accepted that he doubted himself as he felt he didn't look like a proper striker, and he practically approved that he can't derive motivation from within. It wasn't until Kane sat and watched a documentary about Tom Brady that something was ignited within him, the realization that he had to seize his own destiny. Everything changed in 2013. When Andre Villas-Boas made the offer of another loan, Kane finally made his mark. He'd rather not play at Tottenham than somewhere else. This was the start of Kane's development. After Tim Sherwood replaced Villas-Boas as manager, Kane was given the chance to play against Benfica in the Europa League, scoring 2 assists in just 2 minutes. This led to his first Premier League start, and Kane responded by scoring 3 games in a row. When Mauricio Pochettino became manager in the 2014-15 season, Kane was ready to explode. What followed was unbelievable. 31 goals in all competitions, including legendary double-figure displays against Chelsea and Arsenal. Harry Kane had exploded onto the scene. From 2014 to 2023, Kane's goal tally was the stuff of legend. Year in and year out, he contributed elite figures. In 2014 through 2015, he scored 31 goals and was the Premier League Young Player of the Year. In the 2015 through 16 season, he scored 28 goals and earned the Premier League Golden Boot. The next season, 35 goals and another Premier League Golden Boot. Then in 2017 through 18, he scored 41 goals. In 2020 through 21, he scored 33 and earned another Golden Boot plus most assists. By 2023, Kane had surpassed Jimmy Greaves as Tottenham's all-time goal scorer with 280 goals. He had also become second in the Premier League all-time scoring tables, behind only Alan Shearer. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Kane's career, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can never miss our latest football documentaries. But for all these amazing individual accolades, team success still evaded him. League Cup final loss to Chelsea in 2015. Premier League runner-up to Chelsea in 2017. Champions League final loss to Liverpool in 2019. And League Cup final loss to Manchester City in 2021. The Kane curse legend grew stronger with each disappointment. For England too, it was the same. Disappointment in the 2018 World Cup semi-final and the Euro 2020 final. What separated Kane was not so much his goal-scoring knack, but also how he held firm against an incessant bombardment of abuse. Every failed penalty in front of France, every cup-free tournament, every final defeat, they all lent themselves to the story of Kane being incapable when it really mattered. The mastermind conspiracy surrounding Harry Kane is that he's cursed to never win a trophy, whether it's on club or national level, and he never fails to be trolled for it. The question is, how does he cope with all this criticism? Kane's response was a simple yet deep one. Carry on working, carry on scoring, carry on believing. Where others would have crumbled under pressure, Kane used it as fuel. But in 2023, something had to break. Kane had spent 19 years at Tottenham, and now he faced the hardest decision of his life. It was time to leave. In August of 2023, Kane completed his €100 million transfer to Bayern Munich. The task was straightforward: to shatter the trophy curse. His first season at Bayern Munich saw Bayer Leverkusen achieving the Bundesliga's first ever unbeaten title victory. Miraculously, even at Bayern, a club which had recorded 11 successive league championships, Kane's curse seemed to follow him initially. Bayern were runners-up to an undefeated Bayer Leverkusen side in his first season. However, Kane's exceptional individualism couldn't be overlooked. Kane scored 44 goals from 45 matches in all competitions, breaking records in his inaugural Bundesliga season. But within Germany from the beginning, it's been a massive positive. I mean, since the day he signed, fans and pundits and experts have been so excited that this world-class player in his prime has swapped the Premier League for a Bundesliga club. What few people noticed was how Kane was transforming in the background. At Bayern, he found a new culture, one built on winning mentality and championship DNA. The other leaders in the dressing room, men like Manuel Neuer, Thomas Müller, have spoken about the type of person that he brings to the club. We're talking about the sort of thing that Roy Keane likes to go on and on about, being in the trenches, being the guy you can rely on when the chips are down.
So when we look at Harry Kane and his professional career, of course, all that time in his boyhood club Tottenham with nothing, no silverware, he finally does it.
You know, finally Harry Kane is getting over his hoodoo.
The wait was over at last. The jokes stopped. The narrative shifted. Harry Kane's journey from Arsenal reject to Tottenham great to Bayern Munich champion is a football story above all else, a lesson in perseverance. By way of early adversity, overwhelming setbacks, and relentless criticism, Kane never lost hope. He transformed from a player defined by what he hadn't done to a champion defined by how he endured. When he does retire from playing, however many trophies he wins at Bayern, or if and when he breaks Shearer's record in England, he'll be remembered as an absolute all-time great. Kane's story teaches us at times holding on to your career is not about changing who you are. It's about changing where you are, stepping out of your comfort zone, and never abandoning your dreams. With his first trophy and Bayern's victorious bandwagon behind him, Kane's legacy is no longer a question mark. What if has become what's next. And for Kane, it may be only the beginning. Before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next documentary. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on Harry Kane's journey and which player you'd like for us to cover next.